Oh, welcome to the show. It's Monday the 19th. I'm a little under the weather. You can't tell. You can hear my voice. I'm still here for you because I ain't no bitch. Okay. A couple Advil, got my shit together, and I'm here. There's things to talk about, and you're here to talk about them with me. If you're not, well, maybe you'll watch later. Either way, if I wasn't here, well, then I wouldn't be here. Yeah, we got a few things to talk about today. We're going to talk about Joe Rogan. I guess he had, um, what's his face? Kennedy Jr. on the show, Frank. Whatever his name is. Anyways, Kennedy Jr. on the show. He was saying that he thinks that Joe Rogan might be in danger of a CIA assassination or something to that effect. So we'll talk about that and see where that leads us. Fox News. Fox News, I think, is pretty much done along with the rest of the legacy media. Um, I think they've moved too far to the left or some semblance of centrist to what they think is centrist, and it's probably just going to lose them a lot of their regular audience. So I think they're gone. Hillary Clinton, the bad penny just keeps turning up. Just the Clintons have been around forever, and they just don't seem to go away. And I think now with the whole Trump indictment thing, she's being brought up, so now she's in the limelight. I think she loves it, and I think she might be sort of a dark horse of someone to run for president if should Biden not make the trip, if you will. Also, we'll talk about somebody who's getting quite popular here in Canada, Pierre Poilievre. He's a conservative candidate for prime minister for the next time around. I think definitely the guy to beat Trudeau, so we'll talk about him a little bit. Um, Pfizer, I don't know if anybody that's watching knows this. Pfizer actually talked about a drug. This is like a schizophrenia drug or something back in 2017 that they were talking about had some kind of sensor in it that would allow them to know that the person took the drug. Of course, this has been jumped on by well, I shouldn't say conspiracy theorists because I guess I'm kind of one. People that wanted to say that vaccines had this same sort of thing, but we'll talk about that and see what the implications are in that. And also, we're going to talk a little bit about Dana White and UFC fighter pay. Dana White had this pretty cool response. He actually has pretty good responses for it all the time, debunking this idea that the fighter pay is bad for UFC fighters. Um, so we'll talk about that as well. Yeah, without further ado, let's get right into this. Boom, my first story here. And of course, it's going to be the Rolling Stone. Um, so, as I always say, take these kinds of stories with a grain of salt because the Rolling Stone is just a dumpster fire of a brand at this point. They were kind of for like pop culture and things like that before. Now they're into politics and things, and it's always ridiculous. But here's the RFK Jr. story about Joe Rogan. It says RFK Jr. tells Joe Rogan he's aware of possibility of CIA could assassinate him. So he was on the Joe Rogan Experience just recently. I didn't actually get a chance to watch the podcast, but I will. I'll go and check it out. This guy's fairly interesting cat. He has the idea, obviously, that as a lot of people probably have this idea that John F. Kennedy was assassinated by the CIA, and he thinks also his father, Robert F. Kennedy, was as well. Again, this is not. I'm not spouting this as my belief because I'm not allowed to do that here. But it's definitely it has some merit to research and check out. I mean, it doesn't. It's not an outlandish claim. Let's put it that way. So I'll read a little bit of this and just note the language in this article. It's completely ridiculous. Okay, so vaccine conspiracy theorists. That's how they open it, of course, because that's the first thing you want to say about this guy. Vaccine conspiracy theorist and Democratic 2024 presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy, Jr., which is funny though because he is the Democratic presidential candidate. So you're seeing that they're going to destroy anybody that doesn't seem to fit in line with, you know, their the control or the idea that it's a candidate that's, um, apathetic to their agenda, we'll say. I don't know if that's, I guess that's probably the mildest way to put it. He believes his uncle, oh, sorry, his uncle, not his father. Or yeah, uncle is, sorry, his uncle is John F. Kennedy, his dad, Robert F. Kennedy, obviously. Believes his uncle was assassinated by the CIA. He told Joe Rogan that he's aware that he too could be targeted by U.S. intelligence, but he doesn't live in fear of the possibility. Um, blah, blah, blah. Says, I got to be careful, Kennedy replied. I'm aware of that. I'm aware of that danger. I don't live in fear of it at all, but I'm not stupid about it and I take precautions. Aside from his last name, Kennedy, who announced his campaign for presidency in April, is best known for claiming that vaccines cause autism. See, I love it. It's like he's best known for that claim. Okay. Um, Not that I agree with that. I know that's kind of a thing that's been out for a long time that these vaccines cause autism. Um, I don't know enough to say I agree or disagree with it at all. I'm. It seems a little bit, it's a strong assertion, and I've never really seen anybody put a ton of evidence out to say that that shows that 100%. I just know that it's quite an assertion. Um, uh, and plus, okay, so the fact that 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 they link all vaccines to autism is a bit weird to me. I don't know, especially when you're talking about a vaccine versus an RNA treatment. So it's two different things. So, anyways, what's he says? Okay, Kennedy's reactionary positions have already made him a darling for figures like Rogan and Elon Musk. Musk hosted a forum with Kennedy on Twitter in June. During the discussion, Kennedy ranted about social media companies who had banned vaccine misinformation from their platforms and banned mass shootings on the use of antidepressants. See, and then this whole article's like this. I read it twice and it's awful. So don't bother. But it's everything is like that. They just lap in their idea or their narrative. They're going to push their narrative on different things. So right here in April, fellow conspiracy theorist Alex Jones claimed to his audience that Kennedy was an avid listener of his programming. See, they're trying to lump in all these people in the same, in the same dialogue, in the same paragraphs because then they're hoping that it goes, oh, it's gonna you're just gonna destroy someone's credibility. So now you're gonna destroy Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s credibility because his name has a namesake. So they're going to destroy his credibility based on, you know, just linking him in with Robert Kennedy or these other guys and stuff. So um, just silly stuff here. Um, you know, we'll see as far as if it actually does damage him long term, but I don't think so. And I mean, the idea that Joe Rogan is somehow in danger, I don't think so. But I mean, it would be kind of hard to, although I guess popular people have disappeared in the past, so I don't know, maybe, but it seems a little outlandish to me. But we'll keep an eye on this for. Okay, so the next thing, hold on. Oops. So the next thing I'm going to talk about here is Fox News and their kind of push over towards the left. Now, this article here, this one is from Mainwire. I've never even heard of these guys, so I don't know. It was hard to find anything that kind of talked about Fox News and their sort of move towards the left. It's because I think it's so new and kind of gradual. I know that Matt Walsh is talking about it, so we'll kind of go on what he was saying here. So he released a Twitter thread on Thursday that says, breaking news, we've obtained internal docs from Fox News employees. Fox Corp is celebrating Pride by encouraging employees to read about glory holes, supporting a group that gives sterilizing hormones to homeless youth, and deployed woke AI to monitor everyone. Um, so if you watch Fox, which I don't watch any of the mainstream stuff, but if you watch Fox, they seem to be sympathetic to all the different things of the left as far as LGBT and all that kind of stuff, which is fine. I mean, because again, I'm not right or left that way. I'm sympathetic to all of it. I just don't like, as I say, pushing that agenda on kids and such. But if you do watch them, you'll see that they've actually kind of they seem to have moved. Now they've gotten rid of Tucker. They seem to be moving a little bit more to, you know, to the left, maybe to try and garner more of a mainstream audience. But it's it's such a weird approach. It's just like what Bud Light did, right? You're destroying a brand. You have a brand that's set up in a way that, it's predictable, and people know. They go to Fox News for more of the conservative approach on different things. If you happen to catch CNN, you want to catch Fox News to see, kind of get a middle approach, taking the two and then discerning the difference. Um, but now if they're moving that way, it's like the last death rows, you know, of a media giant at this point. And you got to wonder if maybe this is kind of on purpose. Like if they're doing this on purpose because you know, they're going to destroy. They're just kind of going to go down in flames on the cable news, but then they're secretly maybe buying and controlling other facets of where we get our news from. It's very strange when you watch companies do this kind of thing, but I don't know. This is it seems to be all three of them doing it. Um, MSNBC, CNN, and Fox News. So it's gonna be sad as far as where old people are gonna get their news now. If you got an old conservative, excuse me, what are you gonna do? How are you gonna get your news? Um, so I don't know. Whatever. It's I guess Fox News is over. So I cry for it if you will. I won't. Okay. So oh, I don't know if you can see. Look at this. I'm sweating. It's not because I'm nervous being on camera here. It's because, man, my body temperature just cannot regulate. Okay, let's pull this next one up here. All right. So this article here, this is PolitiFact. I hate these guys too, but whatever. Anyways, so here's the article, making sense of bleach and hammer claims, what really happened with Hillary Clinton's email. So this is all related to the Trump indictments now, and the clear uh, double standard there is with Republicans versus the Democrats here. So I'll read a little bit of this. This is pretty. Eh, it's good, but I'll read a little bit of it. Okay, so Hillary Clinton's emails are back in the news shortly after former President Donald Trump was indicted on charges over his handling of classified documents. He and his allies have issued condemnations about the former 2016 Democratic nominee never being charged, claiming a double standard. Clearly, there's a double standard. Um, let me see here. Okay, so the subpoena was there, and she decided to delete, acid wash, and then smash and destroy her cell phones with a hammer. Trump said. Okay, so he's paraphrasing to some degree there. Like he's just smashing it all together. So the smashing the cell phones with a hammer apparently was one of her aides, obviously at the behest of her, or I don't think this aide took it upon themselves to smash cell phones. Um, and then she had apparently deleted a bunch of emails that she claimed were, uh, you know, just personal stuff. So, but still, she did this after they were all subpoenaed. So that's tampering with evidence. Like you now, it's just strange to me that it was fine. Nobody said anything about it. It's okay. Well, that's fine. Oops, you screwed up. No problem. I would think that that's an admission of guilt right away, and you should be in trouble. Or you're setting a precedent to say, okay, that's allowed. But this double standard that's going on here is just crazy, and it's so overt and in your face. But I don't think this is. This is the weird thing about news nowadays, right? It's like they've always said that adage of no, there's no, um, what is it? How does it go? Any, fuck, I can't even think. Drawing a blank. Um, it's anytime something's any kind of news basically is good news. Like it's keeps you relevant. So I think that Hillary is happy that she can actually be still talked about. I think she's got a I think she still wants to run for president. I think if Biden doesn't make the trip, I could see her jumping right back in. Um, the fact that the 2016 election was fairly close. Like, I mean, she won the popular vote, right? So she had more votes than Trump. So people might say, hey, you know what? She has a possibility to beat him. Um, I don't know. I think the Clinton name is just damaged at this point. I think there's too much conspiracy wrapped around them. That I just don't think that anybody would really take uh, that candidacy. I don't think they would take it very seriously. So, but I think she's such a narcissist that she just can't help herself. She's just got to be in there. Um, it's not enough to control and pull the strings from the background. I think at this point she wants everybody to know that she's the one that's in control. So we'll see what happens on that. Okay, moving right along. Let's get into my a little bit more in our backyard here. Pierre Polyev. I think that's how you say his name. Um, he's running for prime minister here in Canada. Um, as many of you know by now, if watching the show, that I'm from Canada. Um, he's he's just a common sense, no bullshit kind of guy. At least everything that he's ever said, he challenges the liberals all the time. Um, and he's gaining popularity. So I think we're looking at the next prime minister for sure. Um, but I don't know. I thought for sure that Trudeau wasn't going to win the last election, but he did. So never underestimate the squirreliness of these liberals. They're able to pull shit out of their ass at times, and um, I don't know how. So anyways, okay, so I'll read a little bit of this. It's a really short article anyway. Actually, I'll just read the whole thing. It says Pierre Poilievre's conservatives are pulling further ahead of the governing Liberal Party in national voting intentions amid a widespread desire for change across the country, a new poll suggests. The online survey from Abacus Data found the federal conservatives have climbed to a 7 percentage point lead over Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's Liberals, up from 3 points 1 month ago. That's a huge jump in a month. So I think people are just finally getting fed up with, high gas prices and inflation running, you know, through the roof and just impossible high rents for people to even live. That, they're looking for any kind of change. And I think a no nonsense uh, conservative might just be the guy. The poll comes near the end of the raucous session of Parliament. They're always raucous sessions this spring that saw weeks of outrage over alleged Chinese political interference and the government's response to it, as well as concerns over how best to help people deal with rising costs and debt. Okay. Well, this is from the Toronto Star. I don't really know where they lean um, politically. I would think they're probably leaning a little left, but that's a fair article. It's a very short article, so um, can't give them too much shit about that. At least they were relatively fair in the article. So um, I can tell you, I hate to admit this because it makes me sound like an asshole, but I've actually never voted. Um, every time it came up to vote, I thought, I always thought, well, my vote wouldn't make a difference. But I think this time around, I actually I've registered with the Conservative Party, and I actually gave a little bit of money to the Polyev, uh, to his whatever, to his political campaign. So this time around, I'll definitely vote for him. I don't want to take any chances that we get another liberal, true dumb government over here in Canada. So um, let's wish us luck. Any American friends watching, that we get out of the troubles that we've gotten ourselves in with 8 years of liberal government. Yes. Okay, so let me see here. Let's go into this one. I hate how this. There we go. All right. Well, this Pfizer thing. Okay, so Pfizer back in 2017, I guess it was something like that. They it was the CEO was speaking about a schizophrenia pill, and obviously with um, the whole vid situation, people were jumping on all kinds of different things to, you know, gotchas and all that kind of stuff. Not that not that companies like this don't give you a lot of gotchas, because I think there's so many that they can't help themselves. But in this case here, it says so the claim was a video shows that Pfizer CEO was talking about microchips and pills, which uh, he was. So I'll read this article. This is USA Today, so it's a little obviously it's left leaning bias, but I'll read it and kind of talk a little bit about future implications as far as um, sensors or microchips in pills and their potential uses. Because I think we're kind of on that doorstep with everything at this point. But here it goes. So vaccine skeptics have resurrected a years old video of Pfizer CEO Albert Bourla discussing technological advancements in the healthcare industry, suggesting his comments were made recently amid the COVID-19 pandemic, which they weren't. Okay, so granted, you dismiss that right away. They were not. This was back in 2017 or something when this was released. So that's clearly been debunked. Um, so this new pill will have a microchip that transmits info once you swallow it. Reads the headline of January 2nd article on welovetrump.com. That's funny. Uh, yeah, whatever. Website that has previously promoted misinformation. I love that. Yeah. Oh, it doesn't really sound like a website that you'd be like, oh, I'm going to go get my information from there. But anyways, the blog post claims they're way beyond vaccine passports and have moved on to just putting a microchip right in the pill you swallow. As evidence, the article cites several tweets from December 2021 that include a clip from Burla discussing the first electronic pill, which Twitter users interpreted as a digital pill for COVID-19. So, um, yeah, they just jumped on this. They saw this article and and I'm sympathetic, obviously, because I take the side of don't tread on me, don't make me take a vaccine I don't want to take or I don't think I need. But if you want to take it, you take it. I just don't necessarily think I just don't think that we need to jump into all these baseless claims, because really it's a baseless claim. Where's your evidence? There's no evidence, so you can't. You just saying something like that doesn't make it true. Um, you might have hit on something, but you just sound like somebody who's a little crazy if you're saying stuff like that and just suggesting that 100% that's what's being done without any evidence. So, um, here we go. So, Pfizer CEO Burla talking about the microchip that will be in medications. The caption reads, "Sounds normal, right? Just a conspiracy theory." But the video circulating online was taken before the COVID-19 pandemic, and Burla was speaking about a drug for schizophrenia that was approved by the Food and Drug Administration, as if that's ooh, okay, great. Yeah, because they don't approve bullshit all the time. There's no evidence that Pfizer's COVID-19 antiviral pills or vaccines contain microchips, as the post suggests. Exactly. There's no evidence. So for you to say it is just, that's the problem with this kind of stuff. That's where conspiracy theories come from. This idea of conspiracy theories, just people spouting nonsense. And I say nonsense, not, okay, I shouldn't say nonsense, but potential nonsense, because you have no evidence whatsoever to back up your claim on it. And again, I could think it's plausible or possible that it was being done, but I can't say yes, it's being done, or to jump on that because that fits the narrative of what I'm trying to say. I need evidence to be able to say any of that. Um, and and this is easily debunked as that video is not related to the vid. So you know, all you're doing is diminishing your credibility at this point when you do stuff like this. That's what kind of irritates me about when these people do this in general, because you have a leg to stand on when you say that the government or these large companies are stepping over or overstepping by saying that we have to do these different things, but you're then sullying up what your point of view by taking something and making a baseless claim. So, um, but you know, maybe I'm wrong. It's happened once or twice. All right. So let's we got one last thing to talk about here. Um, oh, here we go. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Yes, 1111. One of my new subscribers. Thanks for joining the podcast today. Says that's a good thing that you're going to vote. Yes, it is a good thing. Sad that I've waited this long, and I apologize for that. But it's I don't know. I'm from Canada, so we're apathetic up here. We just kind of like go with the flow, and unfortunately, the flow has been being pushed in the wrong direction for too long, and now I've got to kind of take action. So, plus, I run a podcast that talks about this kind of stuff, so I'd be a little bit hypocritical if I didn't, do something where I could do something. So, um, okay, so the last video the last topic I'm gonna discuss here is here UFC UFC fighter pay. This has been a an ongoing there's been an ongoing debate for a long time. I'm not sure who started this or when it was started. I know Tito Ortiz kind of had a thing in there. I don't know when, probably when he was having his little spout with Dana White, but it's kind of a baseless claim. Okay, so this article here, this is all I could really find about it because I actually, it was funny. I saw this. I saw a video of Dana White destroying it on uh, on Facebook a little while ago. Um, it was maybe a week ago or something like that. We were talking about these other organizations that pop up, like Jake Paul. He's offering UFC fighters big money to fight him and such. Um, you know, what? So Dana White's position on that is that the UFC's been in business for 20 years. They're an actual business. UFC is the NFL of the fight game, right? They are the top. They're the NHL, the NFL, the NBA. They are the top. Nobody can dispute that fact that the best fighters come from there or try to end up there. All of that. Um, the fact that they've been in business for 20 years and been doing well just tells you that all this bullshit of like fighter pay is just that. It's just, it's, I'm sure there are certain fighters that could get paid more or maybe should get paid more. But I think when you try and say all of them, you lose that credibility again. It's like I think there are some isolated incidents of certain fighters that maybe should get more pay or might be more of a draw. Um, like for example, let's take someone like a Nate Diaz, right? Um, Nate Diaz, like he's the heel of the UFC. You either love the guy or you hate the guy. Like I'm kind of the on the hate camp just because I think the guy's kind of just him. It's like he seems so surly to me that he would just be kind of awful to be around. But I completely respect his fighting. I think he's tough as nails, and I think he's a massive draw. So I like that's why I'm in the middle. Like I personally, I think he's kind of like there, but as a fighter, I love watching him fight because he's game. He's always bringing the fight. Um, so maybe he might have been underpaid at times because I think he might have been more of a draw, or or there's other fighters like maybe like I don't know. There's back in the day there was guys like Clay Guida, um, you know, that would just come out and just smash. Right? They didn't care. They were going to get punched in the face. And they were going to punch back in the face. So exciting to watch. Um, but other than that, I mean, how can you run a business for 20 years and if you were underpaying your fighters that whole time? Like, why would they go there? There was Pride, there was all these different organizations that were around. Why wouldn't they just go there to fight? It's so I just feel like these are claims made by people that want to see the UFC crumble, or they think it's going to be good for their brand. Like someone like a Jake Paul, like he says that because he's in that game. Or Oscar De La Hoya, he runs. I forget what the what his fight um, organization, whatever is called, but um, he always says that. But yeah, he's a hypocrite and doesn't pay any of his fighters any more than the UFC pays him. In fact, most of the fighters that fight in his organization make less than UFC fighters. So it's a bunch of nonsense, really. And if you ever want to really look it up, look up, I think it's the Mac Life or something like that. There's a great video of Dana White. I should have queued it up. I could have played a little bit of it. But it, Dana White's talking about that very thing, about the bullshit of that. And, you know, the barrier to entry for starting your own fight organization is nothing really. Go ahead and start it. I mean, it's like the UFC is an actual business. It's an actual organization. There's a ton of these little like fly by night fight organizations, if you will. I'm pretty sure there's one that thing's starting now. That what's his face uh, from Barstool Sports, El Presidente. I can't remember what his name is. Dave Portnoy. I'm pretty sure he's got one going on now. Some kind of brawl thing. It's like a bunch of jokers fighting. It's just like it's basically like watching back in the day. There was a thing called bum fights, and it was literally two bums that were paid to fight, and it was awful. You know, that's that's basically what you got. You've got the UFC, and then you've got a bunch of hack wannabes. So until the hack wannabes are competing with the UFC, to me, it's just like the I don't know the AFL trying to um, compete or criticize the NFL. It's like fuck off. You got a garbage. You have a garbage organization. You have a garbage sport that you're trying to peddle off as something people want to watch, but it's not. So I think it's pretty much the same thing with the UFC. All right. Well, that's it. I blasted through that. It's around 30 minutes, so I think I'm half the time without Tyler. So, so I don't know. I just get through these topics pretty quick if I'm just talking by myself because there's only so much I can talk about, I suppose. Thanks 1111 for jumping into the podcast. It was nice to see you. Um, like I said, one of my new subscribers. So it's always nice to see the subscribers jump in to the chats. Um, Feel free if you are watching it. Mondays at 7, I'm here. I'm doing the podcast. If you want to jump in the live chat, I will see it as it pops up in my eyeballs and I'll talk to you. Sometimes I have to skip a little bit of what people say, just because if it's way past the topic that I've already made, and there's a delay. Just know that there is a delay on the chat when you put the chat in for when it comes to me. So I think it's about a minute delay or something like that. So, but okay. So again, if you are watching and you're not a subscriber, please subscribe to the podcast. That does help me out. Obviously, and now that YouTube has lowered their subscriber the subscriber amount now from 1,000 to 500, where you can monetize the channel. If I can get to a point where I can monetize this channel, then we can start doing some fun stuff. And like the podcast and check out my videos from this podcast over the week. I post one every day at 5 o'clock. So if you've missed anything, you can check it out there and share and do all that kind of stuff. All right. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next Monday.